This is the main housing here, and they call this I think they call this the valve housing. And this is where your steering wheel connects to the steering well, actually this connects to the steering column, which is what your steering wheel is connected to. And they call this a worm gear. And you have to put these little ball bearings that'll ride on this race, and I'll show you that part. There's a piston that fits over the end of this. The reason why this had to be worked on was right there. Now I put some B weld in there, but there was a little dimple in the cast iron that was right in line to where the O-ring fits. So it probably sealed when it was first put together, but over the years, when the O-ring got old, it started leaking through there. Seals in. This is a new snap ring. This is a new metal washer, and if you look in there, see there's two there's two seals. There's one, you can see the lip for the two seals. So looks like I need some manual focus there. See, there's two seals in there. Anyway, I've never seen a application where they wanted two in there, because usually one's fine, but this is a power steering unit on pressure. So today I've got to put the piston on this worm gear, and you can see this is a retaining ring. And see how these notches are here? One there. There's one there. So there's four altogether. And it's like a nut, but it's got an internal catch on it instead of like using a socket. So in a minute here I'll show you how that works. So when I first took it off, as you can see, right there, right here. Oh, it's magnetic. Oh, jeez, the screwdriver is magnetic. Right there, you can see kind of a damaged area. It's not perfectly notched out. It's got some damage. That's because I took a screwdriver like that and went around to about 2 or 3 of them and hammered it out. Well, that did some damage. Not permanent. I mean, nothing that affects the performance of the unit, but I could have cracked it or something. So I thought, well, I better try to put it on with a tool. So I went looking for a tool and I couldn't find nothing. So what I did is this. It's a piece of, I think it's 1.5" galvanized pipe. I don't know if it makes a difference whether it's galvanized, but I had to make a tool. So as you can see, these little pegs that stick up line up with these. The critical part was that 1.5" plumbing pipe was the right diameter, and I didn't have to do like heavy modifications to make it work. All I had to do was just cut out for the notches. So as you can see, the worm gear is there, so you have to have a hollow spot. Whoops. Okay, so that just goes right over the worm gear like that. Then when it gets down here, you just line it up. The pipe's too shiny to see. There we go. So just see how it lines up with all 4. So it matches all 4. And then you just take a pipe wrench to the pipe and tighten it down. Now you're not able to get torque specifications, But this little locking pin here, set screw, that's what they call them, that left a little dimple in the ring that you have to tighten down, the retaining ring. So I just realigned it. I put a little mark. You can kind of see the scratch marks to line up where that dimple was, and then I look through the hole and it says, okay, well, it looks like it's tight enough. So in absence of not being able to torque it down to a certain foot-pounds, I just did that. And it worked. I was able to tighten it without damaging the ring. Now let me try to get it off here. It's a pretty tight fit. There it goes. So like I said, the part where I got lucky was this diameter pipe fit right where those notches had to be cut out. So I didn't, if you notice, I didn't even have to bend them in or out to make it fit, which is good because that would have weakened the metal. So that's how that worked. I wasn't able to show you how I put the seals in, which the seals are these right there, and also that's a dust seal, and there's the same kind of seal for what's down on this particular one, and then there's a bearing that I had to put in. So the only thing I'll say is that this piece of brass rod is how I got all that in. And I used a couple other things too, but this was the primary tool to get all those seals and also get that bearing set. And it is brass, and that's a key factor. This is the piston, and the worm gear is inside the piston at the moment. And this is the seal for the piston. It's a Teflon ring of some type. It's like a piston ring. It's just made of Teflon instead of, special metal. So how you put the ball bearings in is there's this little cap here that fits over like that. Like that. So you take it off, and then you just feed the ball bearings, which, see how they roll? You feed them into this ball bearing, what do they call this? Worm ball return or something. And basically it just keeps recycling the ball bearings into the worm gear. Because if it didn't, the ball bearings would fall into the piston, and then eventually they'd all fall out. So this has little notches, which I can't show you because I just finished installing this, but it has little fingers that come down into the worm gear system, and it forces the ball bearings to go through this. And I would go ahead and run it, but the problem is one of the ball bearings fell out while I was turning it, so I don't want to risk losing one. But that's what it does. So I've got the ball bearings in there, and I'm going to go ahead and cap it off. And then I put the screws in, which the screws are right over there. And then the worm gear assembly will be together. But that's how it works.